Hey everyone, this is Jane with Barlow Herbal, and I have a special guest today. This is Benjamin Hardy, and he wrote an amazing article about morning routines that has gone viral for a long time now, actually. So you're going to share with us this routine that you believe will change people's lives, their success with any goals that they want to set, right? Whether it's weight loss, job, business, personal, relationship. I mean, this routine can actually change everything about your life, wouldn't you say?
Mhm.
So, Ben, tell us the premise of a morning routine, why it's so important, and what are your best tips for important things to include in your morning routine?
Okay. So the premise of a morning routine is this. Most people live in what I call survival mode, which means that they are living reactively. When you wake up, what's the first thing you do? You probably check your Facebook. What does your whole day look like? It's generally a reaction to what's going on outside of you. Most people are the product of their environment. And when you do that, I call that survival mode. So think about it. Most people, they'll eat whatever's placed in front of them. That's being reactive to the environment. So the purpose of the morning routine is to live with intention and to live proactively. So you wake up, you put yourself in a mental, spiritual, and physical place, essentially to be who you want to be who you intend to be. So that's really the purpose. And there's a lot of different activities that you can do that. You can go to the gym. One of the most important activities I think anyone should do in the morning is write in their journal for 5 to 10 minutes. And it honestly doesn't even really matter what you write. You could write just whatever comes to your mind. So there's a practice that a lot of people use called morning pages, where they just write literally 3 pages and they don't ever reread it. They don't let anyone else read it. They write about whatever they want, and really is what it does is it just dumps everything out. Your emotions, your fears, it just ejects everything. I'm a little bit more specific when I write in my journal. I'll write about whatever's on my mind, but I'll also then write every single day my key goals, my habit, the things that I'm actually trying to accomplish that year, that week, that day. I always try to do that because then it primes my subconscious about what I'm trying to accomplish. So that's one of the main things I would do. And I would write about what you want to be. So like I have 3 foster kids. Before, if I'm living reactively like most people, when I wake up, I just go see them and I'm not in the right place to be who I want to be when I'm with them. So even if it's just taking 5, 10 seconds to just take a mental break and take a mental reset, who is it I intend to become and who do I want to be as I react with my 3 foster kids? Just taking some time to actually do that completely changes who you are when you're doing it.
I love that.
There's a couple other like key strategies that I could talk about. I don't know. Is there anything you wanted
Yeah,
to
no,
talk
I'd
about?
like to. In fact, I never really thought of the journal thing as just a brain dump.
It's like a therapy session.
It's like a therapy, like your own
That's what
therapy
it's
session.
supposed to be.
Well, because think about the times when you actually write an email to somebody or you write a letter to somebody, maybe it's even a heated letter or there's some emotion that you need to get out because you want to have this confrontation with somebody who's made you angry or made you mad or made you depressed or whatever. And think about how good it feels to simply write it out and then not ever send it.
Yeah.
So it's the same exact concept. And I didn't even realize that as a purpose for writing a journal until you said it just now.
Yeah.
Because I've been writing in a journal for consistently for almost 4 years now, and it's every morning. And I do this because you hear about how important it is to write in a journal, but you don't really realize the benefits of it until you start doing it. And I think a lot of people think it has to be perfect, and you have to be able to go back and have these deep reflections. And sometimes that might come, but it might not always come to you. So what I'd actually like to talk about is some of the most important. So besides a journal, what are the things? Because I love the idea of not doing your day reactively. I love that idea of being prepared for nourishing yourself properly, being
Mm-hmm.
prepared for, yeah, because most people spend their day. I love when you said uh, most people just eat what's put in front of them.
Yeah, they live reactively.
Yeah.
So
So
I'll really quickly, I want to hit one more part about journaling, and then I will go into some of the other core strategies. So one other thing about journaling. So there's a article I wrote actually. It's called "This 10-minute routine will increase your creativity" or something like that. So there's a quote by Thomas Edison, and he said, "Never go to bed without first preparing your subconscious mind." So basically, while you're asleep, your mind is obviously continuing to work. And so right before you go to bed, so your morning routine is important, but also what you do right before you go to bed actually influences the quality of your morning routine. So right before you go to bed, you don't need to write this down, although writing it down would be great, but you want to direct your subconscious mind while you're asleep so that when you wake up and you're fleshing out whatever it is that you're writing in the morning, you're actually prompting breakthroughs that you had subconsciously while you were asleep. That's part of it, is you're trying to pull insights out of your subconscious mind, that because while you're sleeping, you're learning. While you're sleeping, your body's healing. Your mind is processing and compressing a lot of the things that you gathered throughout the day. So at night, to kind of just go off of the Thomas Edison quote, and there's a lot of science that's backed this up, you want to direct where your mind is going to go and what it's going to be processing, thinking about, churning while you're asleep. So you could spend 3 or 4 minutes, or you could write down some of the big picture goals or problems that you're trying to work out or things you're trying to accomplish. Just spend some time thinking about it. You don't need to come up with answers. You just want to start putting your mind to work towards things. And then in the morning, when you're hashing it out, you're going to get a lot of breakthroughs because your subconscious mind has already solved a lot of the problems. You just need to make those conscious. And so you get that through the paper.
Oh, I love that.
And so the problem with most people, as I said, is that they're reactive. Rather than going and outputting, they get input. So they may get input in the form of social media, which is an addiction, or email, or even reading a book is input. Even reading a good book is input. Is what you want to do when you first wake up is output. You want to dump your subconscious mind. So I think most of the most successful people in the world that I know have boundaries on their social media and email use. For me, my boundary is like before 10 or 11 a.m., no input, no social media, no email. Give yourself some clear boundaries. If you don't, then you have an addiction. And then you should have boundaries for the evening as well. You want your evenings to be spent being present with your loved ones. And so give yourself some clear boundaries. The morning should be spent with creation mode. Like your mind is most creative, your brain is most creative. A lot of research that says you have the most willpower and energy in the morning. So you should spend that on output, on creative work, on your most important projects. Then obviously some other things to do. Eating good food. Protein in the morning is really good.
And why? Why protein? I mean, I know why, but why? Tell them why you should have protein first thing in the morning.
I mean, there's a lot of reasons. Protein in the morning is good because, if you eat carbs in the morning, then you're going to be hungry later. It just, I don't know. For me, I eat protein because it gives me long-lasting energy, makes my body feel good.
Well, protein and fat, I find, like really good fat, like one of my favorite things to do is to scramble up some eggs and in coconut oil.
Yeah, I eat eggs with coconut oil.
Yeah, and when I do that first thing in the morning, it's amazing. Not only am I sharp, but I don't get hungry. I don't have any kind of crashes until way later. So protein in the morning is a good routine.
Proteins, fats, and vegetables in general are at least what I would recommend you surround your diet by.
I agree.
And then if you have time in your morning, it may depend on your schedule. Obviously get your body moving, exercise. And then one of the other things I do in the morning is take a cold shower. So that's one of the things in my article. It went viral. Maybe you've read this before. I actually don't start it cold. I take a regular, it's hot because it's awkward to jump into a cold shower. It's hard. You could totally do it. But I have just a warm shower in the beginning, wash my body, wash my hair for like 2 minutes, and then I turn off all the hot, turn on all the cold. And then actually, if you've heard of Wim Hof, I forget his full name, but when your body is undergoing cold water immersion, it's really good it's good for a lot of things. It's good for your skin, it's good for your muscle toning, it's good for your
lymphatic system.
Yeah, I mean, getting cold water immersion is good. And so while like really cold water is hitting my body, and honestly, if you've been in the hot shower for like 2 minutes and then you turn it all the way to cold, it's really not that bad because your body's already been warmed up. But it's good for your body. You actually breathe in really deeply, like, and if you do that when the cold water is hitting you, it actually like releases a ton of like endorphins, oxygen. I mean, it just puts you in an amazing mood. If you can do it for like 60 seconds where you're just breathing deeply and just getting your whole body wet with really cold water, you turn it off, you'll just feel amazing.
Alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, the times that I've done this, which are not as often as I need to be, but maybe after we're recording this, I'll jump in and do it more. But the times that I do it, it's been mostly in the summer, I will admit.
Yeah. Well,
But
if you do the hot water first,
yeah,
then you
that's
can
a
do
good
it.
idea. I never
I'd
heard
start
that
with
tip
that.
before.
I'd start with
So
that.
you know what? That's a really good tip. Okay, let's add one more.
Um, well, so this is kind of part of the journaling. So obviously a lot of people are into meditation or prayer in the morning, whatever form you want. Um, for me, I combine prayer, meditation, and journaling as one activity, but the purpose is obviously to get clarity and focus, which helps while you're journaling. Visualization about who you want to be in the morning, also focusing on gratitude, putting yourself in a place where you're living from a state of abundance, not scarcity. So while you're praying or meditating and writing in your journal, whatever one of those three or combination of all, um, I mean, it's really, again, it's just to put you in a place where you can live at your highest level. You can see things from a more clear perspective. You can also have clarity about what you want to do that day, what you want to be in 10 years from now, so that you can be living, again, not in survival mode, not by reactivity, but every day is lived from a really high level of abundance and intention. And so,
Yeah, and that's such a great place to end this because one of the things we were talking about earlier was your perspective on the blessings you have and the abundance that you have in your life and the way you look at your daily life. And one of the things we talked about was the story of the three workers on the church. And the first, when you ask three different men what they were doing, one would say, "Oh, I'm working. I'm
I'm
building.
laying bricks.
I'm laying bricks." The second guy says, "I'm." Maybe you can finish this.
Yeah, so basically, how you see things determines everything about it. And so in this story, there's three different people working on a building. And if you asked all three of them what they were doing, they would all give very different answers. If you asked the first person, he may say, I'm laying brick, I'm building a building. You may ask the second man, what are you doing? And he could say, I'm building a beautiful chapel. And then the third could say, well, I'm building the house of God. And so basically it just shows that all three of these people are actually doing the same activity, but their motivation for doing it and what they actually see in their work is very different. So their why behind their work is very different. And you know that influences the quality of their work, but also the quality of everything around them. Kind of goes along with the quote by Wayne Dyer, when you change the way you see things, the things you see change.
Yeah, which I think it reminded me of when you were talking about prayer and meditation. That reminded me of that story, just because I think that if you go throughout your day with intention and with a different perspective, it changes everything. And then what I threw in there was a quote that I heard. I can't remember where I heard it from, but you can't change the people around you, but you can change the people around you. So
Yeah, just by your very influence, you can change how they respond to you. You can inspire and uplift them. You can improve the environment around you.
yeah, it's true. Okay, so Ben, if people want to connect with you, because let me tell you, Ben is a prolific writer. He's got an amazing blog. And sometimes I'll click on your website and I'll just open up a blog to start my day because it's so uplifting. It helps remind me why I'm here and it reminds me of my mission and my just how things to uplift my life with. So Ben, how would people connect to your blog?
Okay, so basically you could just go to benjaminhardy.com. That's Hardy. And at benjaminhardy.com, you can get access to my top articles. I generally write at medium.com. I'm actually one of the top writers there right now. So if you've ever used medium.com, you could type in just into Google Benjamin Hardy and you'll find me.
It's pretty cool.
But most of my articles are at Medium. I write at other places as well. But benjaminhardy.com is the easiest place to find me.
Yeah, so Benjamin Hardy, Benjamin Hardy, Hardy. But yes, thank you, Ben, for joining us today.
Absolutely. Happy to be here.
Yeah,
Jane is
so
beautiful. Everything she does is great. I take
well,
Brain Glow and LDM. Actually, just one quick little story. So I already mentioned I have 3 foster kids. When we first got these kids, obviously they had a bunch of health issues. And they were sick constantly. And, you know, Jane is my aunt. And so I've taken LDM my whole life. But these kids were very sick and just constantly getting sick. And they would get me and my wife sick. So what my wife ended up doing and what she's been doing for the last year is every morning she has a shot glass for each of the 3 kids. And she'll put in 10 drops of LDM with a little bit of water. And every morning with their breakfast, they take 10 little drops of LDM. None of them have been sick in the last year. And I'm telling you that honestly, that's an honest testimonial. Our 3 kids are a lot healthier and they haven't been sick in over a year. And we think a lot of it has to do with just the fact that they've been taking LDM for the last year. They take
Yeah.
it every day, just 10, that's part of their breakfast.
Wow, that was a little plug I wasn't expecting,
No,
but you know what? It's true. It's such a
but
great product. But
no, it's awesome. And it wasn't my intention to share that, but
well, if people get to the end of this, because look, we've been going for 15 minutes, then you got the testimonial about LDM. So thank you,
have a good
Ben.
day. Good
Yeah,
luck with your morning routine.
yeah. Let us know how you do. I hope you have a great day. We'll talk to you soon.